Hi guys, welcome back to the 7th video of this beginner C# course. Today we will be learning about conditionals. So in real life we often take certain decisions. Similarly, we can program the computer to take certain decisions based on conditions. In C# there are certain statements that we can use for decision making. These are also called conditionals. So let's take an example. So first let's print out what is your age. Then on the next line we will ask for input from the user, then convert it into an integer, then store it inside an age variable. Now using an if statement we can check if the age of a user is less than 18. And if it is, we will print sorry you can't drive. So how to create an if statement? To create an if statement, first we type if, then inside parentheses the condition, which is age is less than 18. Then on the next line inside curly brackets we will type the code that we want to execute if the condition is true. In our case that is console.writeLine sorry you can't drive. So what's happening here is that the computer will check if the age entered by the user is less than 18. If it is less than 18, then it will execute the code in the brackets, and if it is false, then it will stop running the program. But what if the user enters an age greater than 18? For that we will use an else if statement. So we will type else if, then inside parentheses another condition, in our case that is age is greater than 18, then inside curly brackets console.writeLine you are eligible to drive. So what's happening here is that it checks if the first condition was true. If it is true, it will execute the code below. If it isn't, it will move to the next condition. If that is true, it will execute the code below it. Now we have one last problem to think about. What if the user enters an invalid input, like he or she types the age as 3 using letters instead of numbers? To solve this, we will use an else statement. So how an else statement works is that first it checks if the condition we just specified was true, and if they all are false, then it executes the code for the else statement. So let's go ahead and type else, then inside curly brackets we will type console.writeLine invalid input, as obviously if the input is neither less than nor more than 18, that just means it isn't a valid input. Next we have the switch statement. The switch statement can be used instead of an else if statement when you want to test a variable against 3 or more conditions. Now this is how we write a switch statement. So first we type switch, then inside parentheses we put another variable. So let's create a variable called color of type string, then curly brackets. Now what we want to do is that check the value of color and execute different pieces of code accordingly. To do that we use cases. So we will type case red, then a semicolon. On the next line we will type break. I will explain what it does in just a minute. And you will type the code you want to execute above the break statement. So we will go ahead and type console.writeLine stop. Similarly, I will create the next two cases. So first we check if the color is green. If it is, we print you can go ahead. And then we check if it's yellow. If it is, then we print get ready. Now let me tell you what does break do. So the break keyword just breaks out of the switch statement after it finds a match. So for example, when it finds that the color is red, it will execute the code, then break out of the switch statement, as we don't want it to check values for the variable anymore. So that's it for this video guys. Now if you found this video helpful, subscribe. So see you in the next one.